What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Now that we've got through all four horsemen of the apocalypse, the time has come to get to our back requests. Today, at the requests of the Bard Bardelli, we'll be covering the Ashen Bull himself, Moloch. I'm gonna sound like a broken record on this one, but with stats as a monster in Bestiary 6 and lore expanded in Book of the Damned. As always, this channel is directly supported by patronage, and patronage is the #1 way to see this channel do bigger and better things. If nothing else, the #1 way to see to it that video series such as Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit can come out on a weekly basis. Of course, in return for your hard-earned money, there are several rewards this channel will offer you, one of which is a random shout-out. So today, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you by the Inn of Planar Crossroads. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for letting me piggyback onto Rise of the Rune Lords. If I never get anything else out of this YouTube channel, it's nice to know that I made a small handful of friends with it. It means the world to me. But you guys aren't here to listen to me be sappy. Let's get to it. So, Moloch is the biblical name of a Canaanite god who is associated with child sacrifice. The name of this deity is also sometimes Molech, Milcom, or Malcolm. Rabbinical tradition depicted Moloch as a bronze statue heated with fire into which the victims were thrown. This has been associated with reports by Greco-Roman authors on the child sacrifice in Carthage to Baal-Haman, especially since archaeological excavations since the 20s have produced evidence for child sacrifice in Carthage, as well as inscriptions including the term MLK, which could be a technical term associated with sacrifice. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, Moloch is one of the greatest warriors of the fallen angels. And of course, like all things of this nature, Moloch appears across all elements of pop culture today. In Pathfinder, Moloch is the Lord of Malebolge, the 6th layer of Hell. He is a being of seething wrath who embodies both absolute discipline and unparalleled destructive force. He is the general of Hell's armies, and he endlessly trains the infernal legions to be the greatest martial force in the multiverse, a claim that really not a whole lot of people can dispute. Known as the Ashen Bull and the God of Fires, he expects absolute obedience from those who follow him, rewarding the skilled and ruining the weak. Moloch is an embodiment of the most devastating, inhuman aspects of war. A creature of fearsome, spiked armor encrusted with the blood of countless opponents. His helm is shaped like a powerful bull skull bearing a pair of bladed horns, and upon his chest he wears the severed wings of the angel Imathiel, and clawed gauntlets rest upon his mighty arms. He exerts the strength of a titan to heft the thorned sword Ramathane and the wicked battle axe Gorlech. He never removes his armor, and on the rare occasion when it becomes damaged, nothing can be seen beneath it but flames and the suggestion of fire-charred bones. The Lord of the 6th layer of Hell is the most dutiful soldier in Hell's armies. Knowing that to falter means annihilation at the hands of the weak, but massive armies of the celestial realm, Moloch drives those under his command to perform endless drills and elaborate mock wars. Not one to forego an advantage, he assembles vast, diverse armies consisting of souls, devils, other natives of other layers of hell, and beings from across the multiverse he has courted to join his ranks. Through legions of subordinates and militaristic infernal dukes, the God of Fires keeps strict control over his vast legions, both on Malebolge and throughout Hell, while his mastery of the tyrant's arts allow him to leverage the disposition and particular skills of each army and commander in his service. The Archdevil is quick to punish even the slightest hint of insurrection or disobedience with impossibly cruel and fiery torment. In addition to being one of the most utterly destructive powers in Hell, Moloch is also perhaps the Archdevil most likely to answer the mundane requests of mortal supplicants. In numerous lands, the cult of Moloch holds power as its members call upon their master's might to gain the upper hand. When the Lord of the 6th acts upon the mortal plane, he prefers to manifest his power directly. Whether his people require rain to water their crops, walls to shield their villages, or brides to bear their young, Moloch provides for a price. The General of Hell exacts his wages in two forms. First, while the Ashen Bull's initial boons often come without obvious tolls, his true devotees must make sacrifices of flesh. in great kilns called Molochs, that sounds familiar. In his honor, the Lord of the Sixth servants perform the passage through fire, burning provisions and beasts along with their own young, committing their offspring's souls to the Lord's infernal legions. The greater the sacrifices, the greater the boon of the god of fires. Moloch's second price, though, is far subtler. In the fiery burial rites of his followers, their souls are committed to the archdevil, not to find rest, but to fill his legions or to face annihilation as fuel for his war machines. The followers of the god of fires point to their lord's favors as proof of his superiority over all other deities, but such claims are mere delusion, as the price he demands is worse than any mortal hardship. The Ashen Bull is lawful evil. His domains are evil, fire, law, and war, with the subdomains ash, devil, smoke, and tactics. His favored weapon is the whip, and his unholy symbol, a bull's head with flame. His temples include evil military fortifications, ritual kilns, spawning forges, and his worshippers include evil militant societies and leaders, warmongers, wicked watchers, and settlement guards. Moloch's obedience requires us to build a small fire and then alternate between holding your weapon's damaging end into the flames and performing your martial drills with its glowing blade. Utter devotions to Moloch, the general of hell and the lord of sixth, and swear your blade to the defense of hell now and in all lives beyond. In return, we are granted a +2 profane bonus to our CMD. Moloch's evangelist boons will allow us to cast command thrice a day, blistering invective twice a day, or witness once a day. At 16th level, we gain the Edicts of Malabulge. When the Ashen Bull speaks a command, wise mortals know to obey without thought. Similarly, you can harness your lord's commanding infernal presence to repel your enemies and keep them at bay. Twice a day, you can cast Repulsion as a spell-like ability. At 20th level, Loyal Servant allows us to command incredible infernal might at the pleasure of Moloch, and you can use this dark power to reach into nearly any creature's puny mind, bending its will to serve Moloch's whims as you see fit. Once per day, you can cast Dominate Monster as a spell-like ability. Moloch's exalted boons grant us Burning Hands 3 times a day, Fire Breath twice a day, or once a day Fireball. At 16th level, once per day, you can cast Delayed Blast Fireball as a spell-like ability. Although this knowledge cows most mortals, you understand that a being of pure evil hellfire lives under the Ashen Bull's infernal armor. Instead of fearing it, you embrace this hellish firepower, and can periodically use a fraction of it to blast your enemies. At 20th level, for a number of rounds equal to your hit dice, Malabulge's flames aid you and up to 4 allies within 30 feet of you. The flames encase affected creatures' bodies, providing a +4 profane bonus to armor class and immunity to fire. Anyone who strikes you or an affected ally with a melee attack takes 2d6 points of fire damage on each hit. Additionally, affected allies' melee, ranged, and natural weapons deal an additional 1d6 points of fire damage while this ability is in effect. Activating this ability is a standard action and dismissing it is a free action. The effect's duration need not be used at once, but as with most of these things, it must be used in 1-round increments. Like the Ashen Bull, you know that the true power lies within Hell's hottest infernal flames, and you can call forth this fire to help you on Moloch's behalf in your struggles. The Sentinel boons will allow us to cast Enlarged Person 3 times a day, Marching Chant twice, or Deadly Juggernaut once. At 16th level, we are granted the Ashen Bull's Charge. When the mighty Ashen Bull charges his enemies in battle, all fall before him, quivering in fear and lamenting his rage. You can conjure the same terrifying power that Moloch commands when he bears down on his foes. Once a day as a standard action, with a sweep of your arm, you can emit a burst of infernal rage in a 30-foot radius centered on you. Up to 4 targets of your choice in the area must each succeed at a fort save, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your charisma modifier, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your charisma modifier, or be stunned for 1 round and staggered for another 3 rounds by the raw power of hell. Creatures that succeed at this save are instead staggered for a round, and this is a mind-affecting effect. At 20th level, with the confidence of a chosen servant of Moloch, dutiful general of Malabulge, he who commands Hell's legions, and merciless destroyer of all that is good, you can strike mortal terror in the hearts of your enemies unlike any fear they have ever known. Twice a day as a standard action, you can invoke the names of the Lord of the Sixth, and all enemies that can hear you must succeed at a will save, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your charisma, or be panicked for a number of rounds equal to your hit dice. On a successful save, the affected creatures aren't merely shaken, but they also take a -4 penalty to their AC for the duration. This is not a language-dependent ability, but you must be able to speak to use it, and it is a mind-affecting fear effect. Also, it's something that has arguably a worse effect if they fail to save, because if they succeed, they're going to run off, and that means you might not necessarily get to them. But if they fail, they're taking a -2 to everything, and a -4 also to their armor class, which is a wonderful debuff if I've ever seen one. If I was to pick one of these routes, I would definitely pick the Sentinel route. In Bestiary 6, and again, this is going to be pretty new to me because I haven't looked through any of the Archdevils yet, except for one that I plan on using somewhere soon. Moloch hits the scale at CR 29, which I guess you would expect from the guy who leads the armies of hell, but I digress. Moloch is proficient with all weapons. In addition, any piercing or slashing weapon he wields sprouts cruel, wicked barbs that increase the weapon's critical multiplier by 1 for as long as he wields it. Targets that have fortification gain only half their usual chance of ignoring Moloch's critical hits, which is super wonderful in a meta where your players know that the heavy fortification enchantment is really powerful. 75 divided by 2 is 37.5. We round down in Pathfinder, so when you fight Moloch and you have the heavy fortification enchantment, the heavy fortification enchantment gives you a 37% chance to negate a crit. Light fortification, just a 12%. Moloch can call his weapons Gorlech, a +3 Adamantine Unholy, Vorpal Battleaxe, and Ramathane, a +3 Axiomatic Cruel Unholy Wounding Longsword, to his hands at will as a free action from any distance, even across the plains. If one of these weapons is destroyed, he can remake it and cause the rebuilt weapon to appear in his hand as a standard action. If needed, he can instead remake both weapons as a full round action. Remaking a weapon in this way provokes, but calling it does not. Any creature that comes within 10 feet of Moloch or begins his turn within that area takes 2d8 points of hellfire damage with no save. In addition, creatures that strike Moloch in melee are affected by his burn ability, that's 2d6 points of hellfire damage, unless they succeed at a DC 43 reflex save. Whenever Moloch would take cold damage, he can choose to block all cold damage from that attack, but doing so causes his fiendish furnace ability to be negated until the start of his next turn. Choosing to do so is reflexive and does not require any action on Moloch's part, and this save DC is con-based. Though really with an SR of 40 and cold resistance 30, I'm not entirely sure how we're getting the cold damage in on him, but PC is going to be PCs. When a creature is reduced to 0 hit points by an attack or effect used by Moloch that deals hellfire damage, it is instantly killed and its body reduced to ash, a fortitude save DC 38 to negate. Creatures destroyed in this way can be restored to life only through miracle, true resurrection, wish, or divine intervention. The save DC is charisma based. Once a day as a full round action, Moloch can cause a towering fortress to erupt from the ground at a point within 30 feet of him. Treat this ability as if Moloch used an instant fortress, save that the fortress is 60 feet square and 90 feet tall and sized for a huge inhabitant. Once created, this fortress is permanent until Moloch uses the ability again, whereupon the previous fortress vanishes. Any objects and or creatures within the fortress fall to the ground. Whenever Moloch creates an effect that would normally deal fire damage, it instead deals hellfire damage. Half of the damage dealt by hellfire is fire damage, while the other half is unholy damage that is not reduced by fire resistance or fire immunity. Whenever a creature takes hellfire damage as a result of being swallowed whole by Moloch, Moloch also possesses a bite and a gore attack. So it's not like he has to grab you, drop one of his weapons in the process, and stick you in his belly for this to go off. The creature must succeed at a DC 43 will save or be so overwhelmed with pain that it can do nothing but shriek and wail in agony and can take no other actions. This is a pain effect, and each round that such a victim shrieks in pain, Moloch's frightful presence is automatically activated, and he gains a +4 profane bonus to the save DC to resist that effect. So in short, Moloch is pretty awesome without even touching his spells, without even touching his defensive abilities, really. This guy's got everything going for him. He's flavorful in the fact that he can, put somebody inside the Ashen Bull. He reduces one of the most important things our players buy to survive combat. His battle axe crits like a scythe, his longsword crits like a battle axe, and he's got all the feats you ever want to put on your 2-weapon fighter to dish out all of the damage I really like him personally, but what do you guys think? Would you worship the General of Hell? Would you use him in your encounters? Do you think your party can stand against something so powerful that it, makes a fortress with a snap of its fingers, lures you inside, and after you've fought through all its legions, it puts you in its stomach and you burn and scream and do nothing? Let me know about it in the comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship, where we cover the Queen of Witches, Baba Yaga. Yeah, I know, not necessarily a deity, but the guy who requested him made a really good point about why she should be a deity. And, I mean, honestly, she's strong enough to kill pretty much any of the deities that are statted anyway, but I digress. Drops next Wednesday.